Welcome, race fans, to Fountain, Colorado. We've got Drift Colorado Round 1, the grassroots drifting competition. We're starting it off with Group B, our street class. These are some of our more street-built cars, less competition-oriented, but always a awesome one to watch. There's very close tandems in this. We are currently running our short C course here at Pikes Peak International Raceway. So we've got a couple of outer zones. First one is going to be at the end of our first corner. Then we've got an inner zone. That's going to be an inner clip that they'll have to hit. They'll come through the rest of the S's, hit a outer zone at the end of the S's, and then one in the horseshoe as well. So going to be a very fun course today. Going to make for some awesome tight tandems. We're going to be throwing it over to, I believe it is Chris Kobus, and we've also got Drake in his 6th-gen Charger over there getting ready to send us off. We are going to get the start line ready to go and get ready to hop into competition. Here we go. We got Drake in that Charger, Chris in that C6 Corvette. Had a bit of a heartbreak moment last night in the night drift. Unfortunately, touched the wall with the rear of his car. A good buddy brought him some spare parts, and now they are ready to send it. Zambu getting them off the line nice and clean. Here we go. Drake in the lead. Let's see what he can do with a freshly manual swapped car since the offseason. A little bit of a left foot brake to set him up correctly. Looks like he's coming through here. Quite a bit off on that outer zone, but maintaining a good followable line, which is always nice to see. Chris Kobus giving them plenty of room as they come on by. Drake doing a good job, but not quite all the way out there. Gets out to that outer zone at the end of that zone there and does a very good job in this last outer zone. Chris just maintaining that car and a half, maybe 2 cars back the whole time. He's definitely playing it safe on the chase there, making sure he gives Drake plenty of room, but still maintaining an active chase. That is textbook work from Chris Kobus there. Well, they are getting relined up, and we're watching this replay. I wanted to introduce one of our other judges. We got Tim Upton here. Say what's up.
What's up, guys?
And I've also got my buddy Austin up here, cracking wise with me, announcing as well. So we're going to be calling the action, doing a little bit of judging, making sure we're fair and square with all this, and enjoying some Group B fun here at Pikes Peak International Raceway. Looks like we got some cone cleanup going on the start line. But here we go. Zambu sending him once again. Chris Kobus in that trackside photo. C6 in the lead. We got Drake giving chase, trying to make sure he can keep up with that monster C6. A big brake tap almost, it looks like, for Drake in that chase position. Chris Kobus, textbook as he comes through that outer clip and the inner. Doesn't get into that outer zone until quite a bit later. Drake doing a bit of a dive to try to make sure he makes some proximity up. Might be a little bit too late, but that was a great job from Drake, trying to make sure that he stays active in that chase. A little cone under the car, never hurt nobody. He'll make sure he goes back to the start line and gets that to him. Looks like it's going to be a game of chasing cones for that inner zone right now as chase drivers are coming over that, but we're giving them some leeway, especially in Group B here, and making sure that we can have some active chases. We have got some course reset going on, but right now we just got word Chris Kobus with the win on that one. Really stoked to see that he's back out here. I did not know if he was going to be able to get his car back together in time. Replacing an upper control arm, a couple other things on the rear, and a very nice car, so I'm glad he got it back together. As soon as we get those cones back up, we are going to be going into James Ford in a vehicle that is not his. I believe this actually belongs to his significant other there. We've also got Jordan in that 350Z. Now, Jordan's been doing this a long time. James been doing this a long time. Both of them have tons of laps here at PPIR. So this is going to be a great one to watch. And this is just a battle in to our top 16 that we have running. We're going to wait for it to get started here. And here we go. James Ford in the lead. Jordan giving chase in that 350Z. James, a little e-brake pull on initiation. Seems like Jordan wasn't ready for it. Unfortunately, has to kind of double initiate there. Let's see if he can bring it back together. James barely clipping that inner zone there, that inner clip there. Doing a great job maintaining a fluid glide out to that outer zone. Absolutely love it. Little left foot brake from Jordan there. Fortunately, locking up that wheel cost him a little bit and had to shallow up almost straight in there. We'll have to take a look at the replay on that one, but looks like it was just a little bit of a bobble at the start, then unfortunately put Jordan on the back foot for the rest of that run. James Ford doing a great job of filling all the zones. Let's get to the replay here and see what we can see. Looks like we're still looking at a previous replay here, but we'll get into another one soon. Coming back to the line, we are going to send him the opposite direction here. James Ford's going to be chasing Jordan in that 350Z. Let's see what Jordan can do in the lead. Maybe he's going to put down such a heater. We are forced for a one more time. But if James Ford keeps it clean, it is more than likely going to be his victory here. It is definitely his to lose at this moment. But he's doing a great job still being active, still putting on the pressure. Jordan not too far out on there. Looks like we got at least one inner clip cone completely smoked. James Ford has a little bit of a shutdown as well, and he's really trying to stay behind that Z, having a really hard time. This might be a double zero in our chase positions here. We're going to have to check in with our judges and make sure everybody's in concurrence here. But that was definitely a weird one. It seemed like James Ford's car was gripped up, just had nowhere to go in that chase. We're going to have to take a look at both of those leads there, see if there's going to be a one more time to the double zero on the chase runs. I did really like James in this first outer zone, and especially how he came through. Inner is perfect there. Barely clipped that one, so I suppose not perfect. But comes through and fills the entirety of that major zone right in front of us there with great angle, great speed through there. And then comes out a little shallow, actually, on the replay there. Going to have to compare that to what we saw on the lead run of Jordan. They both had some big mistakes and potentially zeros in the chase there. Here we go, looking back at this one more time. I see that Jordan's just not able to get there. Does a good job on the inner clip, actually. James Ford's car gripped up, not able to maintain it behind him. Does a really good job there. Comes out of a little early. Oh, and he straightens in the lead as well. But James was right there next to him. Could have been a factor there too. I think we're gonna have to do some deliberation here, and then we'll get right back with you guys. James Ford getting the win on that one. Unfortunately, a straighten in the lead from Jordan, leading us to give that one to James Ford. But great work, both those guys, awesome drivers. Getting things shaked out on this first round is definitely a struggle with a lot of different cars that are a lot of different speeds. So we got another new driver here. Let's see if we can get some names on both of these guys. I've seen this Z ripping. This Vert Z looks like it's a Dark Arts tuned car from what I know, but we also got a 135 right behind it. Here we go, doing a great job coming into that outside zone. Plenty of angle, comes through the inside clip a little bit offline. but doing a great job of filling out this outside zone here. A little E-brake to make sure he's set up perfectly into our second outside zone. Let's see how he does OZ3 here, as that 135 still staying behind him, kind of offline just a little bit to make up proximity, but doing a great job. Let's get some names to these drivers. These dudes are both ripping. Also got a 135 right behind it. Here we go, doing a great job coming into that outside zone. Plenty of angle. We have got Gardner and Max. Gardner's in that 350Z vert. We got Max in that 135. To make sure he's great job from Gardner there, especially in that zone right in front of us. I was really liking that. Smooth into the third outside zone to finish out our course as well. That 135, you know, right there with him. We're going to see how this goes for our inverse of this battle. Max is going to lead in that blue 135i. We have got Gardner in the chase in his vert 350Z. Zamboos sending him down the front straight. Looks like that Z had to jump the start line because he knows that 135's got some power on him. But here we go as we come through the first outside zone. Deep into that outside zone is Max. A little bit too deep there. Does a great job through that inside clip, though. Not a ton of angle as he comes through into our outside zone. Looks like he got in there. Did a good job there. Gardner, a little bit of dirt drop trying to make sure he stays behind, but that was a little bit of an interesting line there from the 135. I'm going to have to take a look at that replay, see if Gardner had a big mistake in the chase there or if he was just adjusting to Max's line. He knows that 135's got some power on him. But here we go as we come through the first outside zone. Deep into that outside zone. We're taking a look at this replay sponsored by After Hours Auto Sports. Does a great job through that inside clip, though. Not a ton of angle as he comes through into in Denver. Make sure you check him out. Zone. Looks like he got in there. Did a good job there. Gardner, a little bit of dirt drop trying to make sure he stays behind, but that was a little bit of an interesting line there from the 135. That Z had to jump the start line because he knows that 135's got some power on him. But here we go as we come through the first outside zone. Looks like Max coming through here. Just wanted to check one more time. Definitely was too deep coming into there. Does a good job staying fluid through here. Kind of shallows out right there and runs away a little bit. Looks like Gardner really chopped his line to try to make sure that he could get up to him and goes off track right there. That's a tough one. You got two off tracks for the lead, one off track, and quite a big bobble for the chase. There were a couple of mistakes there. We saw at least one tire off, potentially two tires off from Max on multiple points on his lead. We had Gardner do a great job on his lead, but unfortunately he had quite a big bobble. Some would consider it a straighten in that chase. We want to give him one more time because both these guys were ripping. We want to make sure that they get a second chance to show us what they can do. I think both those guys are going to clean it up. It's going to be a great battle. Next up, we got the Rusty's Vet. And we've got an E46 wagon. Great battle coming up. Josh Penningill chasing, who was it? Chasing Dustin in that C6 Corvette. That C6 on rails. But look at that. Josh not letting him get too far ahead of him. Great job from Josh. He's going to try to cut in. Whoa, way off the zone for the Corvette, but unfortunately causes Josh to straighten out there. That's a hard one because there definitely was room for him to continue drifting behind that Corvette, but we just said in the driver's meeting, I don't want you to chop that line and chop off that chase driver. So definitely going to be an interesting one to see. We're going to have to look at this one more time. Almost an active chase there. Very, very straight line approach from Josh Penningill trying to make up that distance, but he has to. He's in a way underpowered car comparatively, and the Vet wasn't on the best line. He wasn't holding it all the way outside to give him that room to catch up. Tim, what are your thoughts on that one? Way off the zone for the Corvette, but unfortunately causes
decent,
Josh to straighten out there. That's a hard one because there definitely was room for him to continue drifting behind that car. Not necessarily excuses. It's just things that we're looking at here. But both of these guys look like they are on a rip and ready to go for the inverse of this battle. We'll see what Josh can do in his lead. Maybe he can put down a solid lead run and make sure we have to come to a deliberation here, although he did shut down his chase a couple times. Josh doing a great job initiating. Let's see how he comes into this outer zone. He is a little bit off the mark on the outer zone, a little bit late on that inner clip, but doing a good job to transition and have a followable line. He is way deep coming into this outside zone too. Gets into it just at the very end there. Doing a better job in his lead than this Corvette was doing, in my opinion, but Corvette doing a great job behind him, given that car and a half gap. He definitely thinks that he has the advantage there with the straighten, and I think he may be correct. Doing a good job keeping it tidy behind Josh, but Josh doing a good job with a tidy lead line for him to follow. He is a little bit off the mark on the outer zone, a little bit late on that inner clip, but doing a good job to transition and have a followable line. He is way deep coming into this outside zone too. Gets into it just at the very end there. Doing a better job in his lead than this Corvette was doing, in my opinion, but Corvette doing a great job behind him. Alrighty, just deliberating here. We've got Dustin with the win. Great job from Josh. One of the better lead runs I've seen him put down, but unfortunately that straighten in the chase going to cost him that one. Dustin's going to be moving on to our top 8 here. Looks like we are going to be running the rerun of Max versus Gardner. Gardner in the lead here in that 350Z, taking off from the line. Really powering off the line. It looks like that 135 is hanging back. Not worried about making up the ground in this first corner. As they come through to this first outer zone, Gardner doing a good job getting in that zone early and staying there. A little bit late on that transition into the inner clip, but it looks like Max is having a hard time keeping up. Gardner a little bit offline, but ends up in that zone by the end of it. Here we go into outer zone 3. Little brake tap to set him up perfectly. He is doing a great job in outer zone 3 there to finish it up. Max really not in the picture for much of that run. He was there, but he wasn't there attacking, so definitely going to be an advantage towards Gardner in his 350Z there with that awesome lead run, as we see here one more time him come in. But a little bit shallow on the very start of this, but ends up bringing it into the zone by the end, which I like to see there, and very fluid throughout it. Definitely a chaseable lead. Little brake tap to set him up perfectly. There at the end, car and a half, 2 cars back. Was it too little too late? And can Gardner put it together with no mistakes in the chase? We're going to see on the inverse of this battle. Here we go, coming down our front straight. Max with an e-brake initiation. Gardner right there on him. He thinks this might be the finals. He is trying to make sure he gets no room away from him. Max, pretty straight line approach as we come through here. He is not pouring a ton of angle in on that car. But look at this, Gardner right on him. He found out what line he's doing. Couple of clutch kicks, a little bit of e-brake right there on that transition. That is exactly what we like to see. We need to see more of this kid. That was awesome. That's the kind of chases we're looking for in Group B. Making the right adjustments, staying in the pocket right behind them. Even though that lead line wasn't perfect, Gardner did a great job adjusting his car right where it needed to be the whole run. That is textbook what we're hoping to see behind a lead run that's a little bit shaky. Straight line approach as we come through here. He is not pouring a ton of angle in on that car. But look at this, Gardner right on him. He found out what line he's doing. Couple of clutch kicks, a little bit of e-brake.
We
right
have
there
Gardner
on
with the win on that one. Great job in the chase there, but not to,
that was awesome.
you know, Max put up a great fight there, and he did have a good followable lead there.
Definitely a little bit off on a couple of the zones, a little bit off on angle, but he was doing a great job with that lead. So Gardner gets the win, but big ups to Max. That was a great battle to watch, and glad that won one more time. Alrighty, here we go. 2 yellow vehicles we see out here at Pikes Peak International Raceway all the time. We have got the C6 Grand Sport versus Trapper in his Banana Mobile. This is Troy in the lead in that yellow C6. Troy doing a great job all practice. I was watching him be so fluid as he comes into that first outer zone, doing a great job. A little bit late on the inner clip there. Look at that. Trapper knows how to drive with his buddy. Has to do a little bit of a clutch kick to stay behind him, but I don't think Straighten's there. And, man, that C6 is on the perfect line as he comes through that third outside zone. Group B cars making smoke first lap is always a crazy one. That is a well set up car there. Troy doing a great job putting the car exactly where it needs to be, making sure that Trapper has a great line to follow. Trapper had to make a big adjustment there in the chase, but that's because he was staying close, so we're going to have to factor that in as well. Troy doing a great job all practice.
Looking at this replay here, want everybody to take a look at this outside zone, the 2 to 3 interchange. This is what we're going to be looking here. Trapper trying to put it on his door. And comes in well, but is just a little bit low on angle. Pulls the e-brake, big clutch kick, e-brake combo to try to stay sideways, but it looks like at least one straight in there from Trapper in the chase position. We'll see if Troy can hold it together and throw down a proper lead or a proper chase. We know that the Banana Mobile is going to be throwing down a proper lead for him. So Trapper in the lead, Troy in the chase. Big clutch kick initiation. You hear that BMW S52 roar to life as they come through that first outside zone. Trapper, textbook on both his transitions. Troy, not active as much as we would like to see in his chase, but he is making up the distance. It looks like Trapper a little bit off track, a little bit too deep into that zone, doing a good job having a followable line. And maybe Troy knew that he had a little bit of an advantage there with the mistake, because he looked like he played it conservative, and it's not a bad thing to do. We have one cone down here that we're going to get picked up. We'll take a look at some replays. Roar to life as they come through that first outside zone. Trapper, textbook on both his transitions. Troy, not active as much as we would like to see in his chase, but he is making up the distance. It looks like Trapper a little bit off track, a little bit too deep into that zone, doing a good job having a followable line. And maybe Troy knew that he had... Alrighty, we are going to have Troy with the win on that one. Troy doing a great job. He didn't take it as aggressive in the chase as we would love to see, and he's definitely going to need to clean that up as the rounds go on. But Trapper, with 2 mistakes there, pushing real hard behind him in his chase, is going to end up being putting him out of competition here. So we're going to move on to, it looks like, Chris Kobus and Alex here. Alex is going to be leading in that Blue E46. Chris Kobus in that C6 trackside Corvette, giving chase. Alex going to give it everything he can here on this lead run, trying to run away from that C6 Corvette. Chris Kobus dialing it in on him. Neither of them with crazy angle here, but definitely fluid as we come through that outer zone. Looked good going through that. Big angle from Alex in the lead as he makes that transition a little lazy. We're going to come through into this outer zone. It looks like he is right on the line, maybe one tire in that outer zone, especially for the last half. Comes through outer zone 3 with a great line. Chris Kobus right there. He knows exactly what he needs to do, having that active chase, but not getting too choked up behind a lower horsepower car. But Alex doing a great job in lead, giving him a followable line. You know, I said lazy on this transition. That's just I know how fast that car can snap. He really hung out,
he makes that transition
hung
a
out,
little lazy.
Pointed towards the wall after that inner clip.
Into this outer zone. It looks like he is right on the line.
And it ended up pushing him not on the perfect line for outer zone 2. But outer zone 3 looks textbook to me, and overall very fluid. So no huge notes from either driver on that run. Here we go. We've got Chris Kobus in the lead. Alex giving chase now. We're going to swap it back and forth. And look at that. That's C6 putting a gap on him right away, but Alex not letting him get away too easy. He is going to make sure that he tries to close up that gap. Chris Kobus in a league of his own vehicle-wise right now and potentially driving-wise, but he is way off of that outside zone. And Alex is doing a great job to make sure that he tries to make up distance while Chris runs away from him in that C6. I want to look at that transition through the inner clip to our outside zone too. See if that car is just running away from him or if that was proper followable. On him right away, but Alex not letting him get away too easy. He is going to make sure that he tries to close up that gap. Chris Kobus
does a great job on that inside zone. Almost transitions a little early, potentially. Puts himself way inside on outer zone 2 there.
Alex is doing a great job.
And Alex just didn't have room to make up the ground there with that narrow of a line. You see he does a good job of making up proximity in pretty much every corner, but it almost is too little too late. We're going to deliberate for just a sec here on that one. We're doing a little deliberation. We're going to take a look at both those leads, make sure that we are factoring everything in here. So we're going to look at the lead of Alex and the lead of Chris Kobus, try to analyze zone for zone and see which one we can go with here. Here on this lead run, trying to run away from that C6 Corvette, Chris Kobus dialing it in on him. Neither of them with crazy angle here, but definitely fluid as we come through that outer zone. Looks good going through that. Big angle from Alex in the lead as he makes that transition a little lazy. We are going to come through into this outer zone. It looks like he is right on the line, maybe one tire in that outer zone, especially for the last half. Comes through outer zone 3 with a great line. Chris Kobus right there. He knows exactly what he needs to do, having that active chase, but not getting too choked up behind a lower horsepower car. But Alex doing a great job in lead, giving him a followable line. You know, I said lazy on this transition. That's just, I know how fast that car can snap. He really hung out, pointed towards the wall after that inner clip, a little long for my taste, and it ended up pushing him not on the perfect line for outer zone 2. But outer zone 3 looks textbook to me, and overall very fluid, so no huge note. We're going to swap it back and forth, and look at that C6 putting a gap on him right away, but Alex not letting him get away too easy. He is going to make sure that he tries to close up that gap. Chris Kobus in a league of his own vehicle-wise right now, and potentially driving-wise, but he is way off of that outside zone, and Alex is doing a great job to make sure that he tries to make up distance while Chris runs away from him in that C6. I want to look at that. Tough deliberations out here in the booth. We're trying to make sure we analyze everything, give everybody the best chance possible. It looked like there was a little mistake from Alex in his lead, but his lead was so much better. We unfortunately had Chris way off in the chase on that outer zone 2. So we're going to run it back. Hopefully both of them can clean up their leads a little bit, provide us a fair and even playing field for the chase. But here we go. We have got Xeon SC Action. Who are we got here running? We've got Nathan Hunt in the lead, and we've got Josiah in the chase. It looks like Josiah in that SC 300 or 400 had an issue in the first corner. Nathan Hunt doing a great job in outer zone 2, making sure he gets through all the zones. Not quite as far out as we would like in outer zone 3, but doing a good job of filling everything out and miles ahead of his competitor. Mainly, it seems, because of that spin in the first corner there. Looks like a bit of a tough break for Josiah there. Moment just a little too big, I guess. Sometimes the nerves can get to you, especially in that first corner. Looks like he understeered a little bit, tried to do a little too much to reinitiate. Unfortunately, spun out right there. We'll need some cone cleanup on aisle 4, and they'll get those all reset for our next run here. Man, that SC400, SC300 of Josiah, kind of looking like a lean rig out there. Tiny wheels and tires on the back. Looks like a friend, Rob Izzo, is helping him grab some cones out from under his car.
That thing's definitely a squatted truck out there pulling up to the line. He's going to have a chance to throw down a lead. Nathan Hunt probably going to throw down a conservative chase behind him after that spin in the first corner, but hopefully still going to be active enough for us to have some fun and watch as they come off the start line here with our awesome drone operators, making sure we get all of the clips here. Nathan Hunt staying far back, making sure that he is safe there. Here we go, coming through the second corner. We are coming through this last outer zone. Oh, looks like we have some contact there. Didn't look too bad. They were both pretty close and going about the same speed, so hopefully nothing too crazy out of both of these competitors. Man, unfortunate little bit of contact there. Looks like Nathan Hunt's car is okay. Looks like this SC of Josiah also pulling off. Looks to be potentially a fairly new competitor, or at least a very new car that we haven't seen too much out there. So he's going to make sure that he gets off track here, and we can proceed with the one more time battle. Looks like he is pushing that vehicle off. We got a couple of friends of the racetrack coming to help him push his vehicle to a safe location, make sure he gets out of the way so we can continue with this. Wonder if his car potentially shut off or had an issue there that made him unable to continue. Unfortunate for that spin there. Luckily, it looks like Nathan Hunt is doing all right. Doesn't need to fix his car or anything. So they're checking it out over there at the pits, and we have Alex leading Chris Kobus in his C6 coming up next. Give us just one moment here. We are waiting just 1 second to send them while we get our camera operators and a couple of friends who helped push that vehicle off track back into position. This one's going to be the rerun of Alex and Chris Kobus. Looks like we are getting clear to send here as all the people who helped push that car off track are getting clear and back into their positions. We have got Alex going to be leading Chris in the chase in that trackside C6 After Hours Auto Sports C6 Corvette. Alex rocking with the same 330 he was in last year. A proven car. He actually won one of our events last year in that rig. Definitely is dialed in it. He's not quite as deep as we would love to see him, but does clean it up on that inside clip, transitioning super smooth. Look at Chris. He's not leaving this one up to chance. He said no one more times here. He's going to make sure that he dives in and gets active behind Alex in the lead. Alex doing a good job giving him a chaseable line there. Chris having to make some corrections after the track is already done, but in my opinion, the course is over after that outside zone, so I'm not going to consider that a bobble or a straighten in our competition run. Something to maybe keep in mind, but I really like the fact that he is on doors through here right after this transition. He's close on transition, does a great job of cleaning that up. Now let's see if he can do a great job in the lead and give Alex something to answer. That's our main thing that we're looking for here, and the main ding that Chris got on his was he just ran away and didn't fill the zone. So if he can fill the zones here, I think he's going to be in good shape. Here we go. Chris Kobus in the lead. Alex giving chase. Chris doing a good job in that outer zone. A great job in that inner clip. Man, this is exciting to watch, and he is making sure he gets out to that outer zone. But here we go. Alex trying to come in and get to his door. That C6 just a little too fast. Does a good job of trying to make up that proximity in the last corner. Maybe a little bit too late for him as far as making that up. Maybe that C6 is just a little too fast, but definitely not the same proximity we saw to Chris. Great driving from Alex, though, in his lead, and a great job trying to chase down that high horsepower car. Great job in that inner clip. Man, this is exciting to watch, and he is making sure he gets out to that outer zone. But here we go. Alex trying to come in and get to his door. That C6 just a little too fast. Does a good job of trying to make up that proximity in the last corner. Maybe a little. Here we go. We have got some friends of mine battling it out. Daniel Hendricks, Patricia Upton giving chase. Both After Hours Autosports 350Zs, one with a big old scary LS, one with the most hated VQ. As they come through this first zone, it looks like Daniel's way off of where the zone normally is there. Daniel has been having some issues with his car later last night and sometimes today. Patricia doing a good job of keeping it close behind, but that LS definitely hard to keep up with. Smoking the tires out as they come through. This is going to be an interesting one. We'll see what they can do when this is inversed. When we look at this first corner, it's very hard to see Daniel out there all the way to the line there. It looks like he doesn't fill that zone in the slightest. Does a good job on that inner and is right there where he needs to be. Let's see, outer two. He looks like he's into outer two, especially at the end there. So he got good proximity in outer two and does a good job in outer three as well. Patricia, looking at this replay, kept it kind of conservative behind him. But obviously that power difference is creating quite a gap there. So I don't like that he kind of ran away in that first corner. Didn't really have the opportunity to get Patricia too close. We'll see what happens in the inverse of this battle here. Like I said, though, Daniel has been dealing with some fueling issues, he believes, so he may have had an issue coming into outer zone 1 there as well. Here we go. Patricia in the lead. Daniel giving chase. After Hours on After Hours Crime here. We have got Patricia doing a great job getting out, gets out to that outer zone on outer zone 1. Does less good of a job on that inner clip. Does a great job coming into a smooth line, but unfortunately not quite deep enough into outer zone 2. Here we go. Outer zone 3. No issues through there, and Daniel right on her, making sure his presence is felt. A little dirt drop after the flag to put an exclamation point on it. Daniel doing a great job on that chase. He is an experienced driver with a well set up car. He is definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with on today's championship battle. Daniel getting the win on that one. A little bit of deliberation just because we wanted to make sure we took a look at those leads and making sure that we were giving everybody a fair chance here. We're taking a little bit of time to deliberate just because we want to make sure that we're looking at these replays. Steve is doing an awesome job making our live stream run smooth and giving us the opportunity to look back on some of these battles almost unheard of in grassroots competitions. So we want to give a big shout out to all of our live stream operators here who are helping us out, making sure everybody at home who can't make it out to Pikes Peak International Raceway today is able to see the action. Here we go. Here we go. We've got Drewski FPV on the drone as these two vehicles come in. That looks like it potentially is Izzo in the chase. Unsure who this S14 is in the lead, but it's making turbo noises, and that's real neat. Here we go as they come through into the second outer zone. Fills it at the end there, but wasn't there at the start. Let's check how this third outer looks. A little bit off on the third outer as well, but maintaining a clean line through there. We're definitely going to need to go back to Drewski on his drone to take a look at how that first start of this battle played out. Alrighty, it looks like that's Caius in his blue S14. It looks like he was way off of that inner. Can we see the start of this run one more time, Steve? Yeah, so hearing that potentially there is a lack of gears in that S14, he said that potentially only has second gear. So definitely hindering him is his ability to get out to that first outer zone. But that's why I wanted to see it. I caught the tail end of that and saw that he was really not deep there. Fortunate turn of events for him in the lead. But we are going to be sending them as Izzo is going to put down a lead for us here in front of Caius. That is Rob Izzo in his C5 Corvette, doing the dang thing, making sure that he puts on a show for us. You can hear whatever engine sounds almost like a JZ in that S14 on limiter, trying to keep up, trying to catch Izzo. Izzo doing a great job being fluid. He looks like he's just playing on the sim right now. Cool, calm, collected, hanging out, throwing down laps with the boys. A little bit of left foot brake to get out to that outer zone 3. One thing I love about watching Rob drive, he is so smooth, man. He is always throwing down a great line to be able to chase. Unfortunately, that S14 seeming to have mechanical problems and unable to get out to some of those zones in his lead and unable to put down a fairly active chase. But great job from both drivers. Pretty easy call there for the judges. We are going Izzo with the win on that one. Doing a great job, Caius. Thank you so much for coming out. That car looks and sounds amazing. Unfortunately, the mechanical issue keeping him from moving on there. Alrighty, it looks like we got Luis in his 350Z going against James Ford in his E36. James having a hard time behind a Z earlier. Probably going to potentially take it a little bit easier as he comes into this second outside zone on this one. But this Z, no slouch, making sure that he gets out to this first outer zone. He is way off on the first outer zone, unfortunately, and way off on the inner clip. That's going to put him on an interesting line coming in here. He is super deep, but unable to get all the way out to the zone. It looks like, James Ford very choked up behind him, but able to keep it sideways. Good adjustment from James behind him as a dirt drop happens, taking out one of our cones there, so he is off track in outer zone 3 as well. But you know what? Not a terrible lead run. Off a lot of the zones, but no straightens, nothing crazy. Not a 0 by any means, but definitely a lot to clean up before this next round as he's 2 cars off of the zone there, a car off of the zone there. Coming through into, I like this line coming into outer zone 2, but unfortunately, just kind of a little bit too little too late. James Ford in that E36 doing his best to play catch up when most of the lines were chopped there, and able to stay sideways and behind them, stay out of the danger zone of that silver bumper on the back of that 350Z. We are going to be running the inverse here. James Ford going to be leading in that E36. I believe that's S50 powered. Interesting engine combo in there. And potentially SLR angle on that bad boy. Potentially FDF, because I know that James Ford's Corvette has some FDF on it. But Luis doing a good job for that lead. We're getting a couple cones reset, and we'll get ready here.
We got James Ford taking the lead on this one.
James Ford doing a great job in his lead there. Really seems like he's dialing up his lead runs and making sure he's filling out all the zones. Looks like Luis had a little bit of a bobble in that first corner and has a big opposite drift coming into outer zone 3. It's going to be an easy one for the judges here and a textbook lead follow from James Ford, really showing why he's a Pro-Am driver, beating up on all of us friends in Group B, but he is doing it in a legal car, so we'll allow it, and we love seeing our boys drive. Yeah, I mean, Luis looked like he was on a rip there. Maybe just got a little bit worried about the proximity and unfortunately shut it down a little bit. Gardner in the lead, and we've got Dustin giving chase in that C6 Corvette, looking like Lightning McQueen out there. Gardner doing a good job getting to that outer zone, doing a great job on that inner clip. The Corvette getting a little wild behind him, going to give us a wall ride spectacle. Looks like that transition timing was just a little rough for him, but oh! Gardner threw away my grass, dude! No! Gardner, there's one rule, brother. Oh, man, it looked like it was going to be signed, sealed, delivered by FedEx for Gardner coming through until outer zone 2. He spins it out. So that's going to be a tough one because it looked like we had a completely inactive chase after this big bobble and straighten from the C6. But Gardner got away with it and then didn't. Man, that's a rough one, staying on throttle in the dirt. I can understand it. It's competition, you know. Hearts are heavy. Tim's making fun of me about the grass. We're going to get this all cut up and fresh, so hopefully we can fill that in tomorrow when we do some landscaping. Yeah, Gardner doing some yard work for me. Here we go. We've got Dustin leaving Gardner. Gardner with a huge mistake in his lead. So let's see if maybe he can put it on the door in the chase and make us give him another shot. Oh, it looks like that vet may have been off track there. We'll see who hit those cones on the replay. Gardner putting it on his door. The vet coming in there. Does a good job of keeping it smooth through to that outer clip. Here we go. That C6 Corvette filling out. Oh, going off course again with one tire taking out a cone. Lots of dirt flying in this battle. We're going to need to look at both this lead and follow one more time, deliberate a little bit, talk amongst ourselves, and see what's going on. This one is off. Alrighty, little mic swap. Do I sound good, Steve?
You're not coming out at all.
I'm not coming out at all. Can you hear me? Doing a quick mic swap, trying to see if y'all can hear me. Can I be heard?
You were a lot louder before.
Gotcha. Pulling up to the line, it looks like we've got Troy. He is going to be battling against Chris Kovas. Tell him to wait for a second. Steve, do you have me on the mic? Alrighty, we are holding them for just a sec to make sure we can get all ready to send here on the live stream side, making sure we sound good and look good for you guys. We have got an exciting battle to be had here. This is going to be Troy in his C6 Grand Sport versus Chris in his C6. I don't even know what model, but awesome builds on both these cars. Both of them showing why C6s are coming out to Group B and dominating. Both amazing drivers. So excited to see them battle it out here, and I think we should be ready to send. If you guys didn't hear it, Dustin in that Rusty's 95 Lightning McQueen C6 got the win on that one. Unfortunately, Gardner with that spin in the lead. Moment just a little too big. Could have had it with him. Troy doing a great job keeping it composed. Rocket ship down that front straight, but unfortunately not too deep into that outer zone. Looks like he's doing a good job keeping it fluid, but is quite a bit off of that inner clip as well. Coming into outer zone 2, he does a good job of putting it right on the line there, but not too deep. Oh, big backward section here for Chris Kobus behind him. He is definitely saucing it up in that chase. Not too close, but giving us lots of drama. Both these vet drivers super clean and consistent, so it's going to come down to the nitty-gritty here. We'll see what happens in the inverse of that battle. What? I'm not off. No. Looks like Troy was not quite deep enough into those zones for our liking. Let's see what Chris does as he comes through. Both these cars were rocket ships down the front straight. Good initiation from both cars as we go to the races here. Chris gets into that outside zone 1. Great job in that inner clip as he always does. Coming through into our outer zone 2. He is not quite as deep as we would like to see him, unfortunately, in outer zone 2. Let's see how he does in outer zone 3. This is a cakewalk for both of these drivers, high horsepower cars and super dialed drivers. Both of them come through outside zone 3 with minimal drama there. And unfortunately, both of them having a little bit of a hard time with outer zone 2. We're going to have to take a look at both these leads, both these chases, and see what is what. It seems like Chris had a better job in the lead there, especially in zone 1 and the inner clip. So we'll take a look here at this second zone, try to compare both zone to zone on both drivers. I think it's Kobus for sure, but I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything on the chase. Yeah, I'm going Kobus. Judges deliberated. We're going Kobus with the win on that one. A little bit more active chase on him and did a better job, especially outer zone 1. So doing a good job there. We have some wind in the booth, some wind coming across the track, so we're making sure we get everything battened down here before we send them. Looks like we're going to be rocking and rolling. We've got Nathan Hunt leading Daniel here. 350Z on 350Z action. One of them obviously with an LS stuffed in it. Nathan Hunt doing a good job. I like that initiation. I like his line as he comes up. We'll see where he's at on outer zone 1. Unfortunately, can't get there on outer zone 1. Does a good job on the clip. Coming through into outer zone 2, Daniel is right there with him. Knows where he needs to be. Kind of chops the line to gain that proximity. Nathan doing a great job on that outside line to give him the room to do so. But Nathan, unfortunately, way off on that first zone that didn't allow Daniel to get up quite as soon as I'm sure he would have liked to. Both drivers doing a good job, staying clean and consistent, no bumping back and forth. I appreciate seeing that. But Daniel doing a good job in that chase, even battling some of those mechanical issues we talked about earlier. See if Nathan can put down chase and if Daniel can put down a lead here on the inverse of this battle. Is there somebody down there? Go, yeah. Don't put it back up, but just go alert somebody. We had a monitor fall down there. Here we go. We've got the inverse of this battle coming up. Daniel giving lead, Nathan giving chase. Both of them doing a great job as we come into outer zone 1. Looks like Daniel does a great job in outer zone 1. Nathan takes out all of our cones on the inner clip. Daniel ripping. You hear a little bit of what seems like a soft limiter on that LS as he comes through outer zone 2. Outer zone 3, he is deep. We're going to need to take a look potentially at a drone shot to see if that was 1 or 2 wheels. It looked like one of those was all smoke, just one was dirt. But great job from both drivers coming through. Wind's a little bit too tall for the drones. We'll go based off of our camera on the replay here. Love to see this angle. You see all those cones getting taken out. Great job from Nathan. The proximity is so there. Looks like that is one tire off. It did choke up our chase driver a little bit, but but I don't think enough to potentially disqualify it. That's harder than I thought after that one. But Daniel did a great job. Yep. I think I'm going to Daniel to win on that one, especially because Nathan took out all 3 of those cones in the chase. Yeah. Hitting all those cones was a rough one.
Daniel for the win, Daniel for the win.
Judges taking a look at that, giving Daniel the win. He did have that tire off in the last zone, but a little bit more glaring issues going on with a couple of Nathan's mistakes there. Either way, we've got Rob Izzo, James Ford. Are we in the top 4 now? We are battling into the top 4. This is going to be our Great 8 battle. Rob Izzo is going to lead. James Ford in that borrowed E36 giving chase. The local boy, Rob Izzo, drives with James often, both in his Corvette and in his other vehicles, so this is going to be an awesome one. I'm looking forward to seeing the tightest tandem that we have seen today on this run. Let's see if we can make it happen. Yeah. That wind, a real motherfucker.
Let 'em know.
Here we go. Izzo initiating. James Ford giving chase. James Ford with a saucy entry there. Izzo right where he needs to be in that zone, right where he needs to be on the inner clip. James barely cutting it in the inner clip. Little bit of a straighten and reinitiate for James Ford as he cuts the line massively to get back up with Izzo. Going front wheel to front wheel there, and what looks like potentially a straighten in the chase there. James Ford kind of gripped up behind that C5 and Izzo's wide smooth line, giving him the room to be able to dive in there. I love that initiation from James Ford, but unfortunately kind of falls apart after that inner clip. Let's take a look here. Textbook from Izzo. Textbook from Izzo again. And then it looks like there's a big straighten right here. James Ford, unfortunately, getting gripped up there. Reinitiates and does a good job of reinitiating, but, man, Rob is online and just showing us exactly what Group B needs to be. A little bit off of outer zone 3 there, but otherwise a great run from him. This mic's great. I can walk around, dude.
That's a nice one.
This is a nice mic. Can't fucking drop this shit, eh?
Yeah, don't.
I like this mic, dude. Good mic. My hand just got a lot tighter around this. Here we go. James Ford initiating. Izzo giving chase. Izzo definitely knows that James was there. I wonder if he got word from his spotter, if he has one, about James's mistakes there. Izzo doing a good job putting it on him. Look at both of these drivers as they come into outer zone 2, doing a great job. Izzo right there behind him, working that left foot brake, making sure he stays at angle, doesn't have any mistakes through there. Izzo is showing up to play today. That was a textbook chase there, making sure he's in an active chase, even though James had some issues in his lead, or in his chase, I should say. Man, that was a masterclass by Rob. I love watching stuff like that. He is so clean, so consistent. Both these guys, awesome drivers, amazingly talented drivers. Obviously, we have a borrowed car situation, so something where James may be playing it a little bit safe, doesn't want to crash that rig, so can totally understand where he's coming from on that one, and Izzo's going to get the win on that one. Dang, dude, that 110 looking nice. Here we go. We've got C6 on C6 action here. It looks like Dustin in the lead. Chris in the chase here. We got that Lightning McQueen C6 versus Chris in his trackside photography C6. Both of them doing a good job staying fluid, but it looks like Dustin's vehicle was not quite where he wanted it to be. A little bit of a bobble in the lead there, but putting quite a gap on Chris in the chase there. I know Chris had to change quite a few things with his car over the night and this morning, so maybe doesn't have quite as aggressive of an alignment in there. Looks like Dustin taking out one of our off-track cones at the end of that outer zone there, so we'll need to get that reset up and get everything ready to go here. But looks like quite a big off right at the end of the course here for Dustin. No, actually, they're going to be sending them, so we'll wait until after. Alrighty, here we go, getting ready to send. Looks like Dustin is talking with Zambu, getting the lay of the land here, maybe asking a question for him. See if they are ready to send. We'll leave it up to our start line guy here. Big shout out to all of our volunteers who are helping out on track and behind the scenes right now, especially all of our Drift Colorado homies who are making it happen, shagging cones for us, making sure the course is reset up every time, getting everybody ready to go off the line as they take off. Chris Kobus in the lead, Dustin giving chase. Great initiation from both of them. Oh, big angle, quick snap to angle from Dustin, and he looks like he's in his own world in the chase there. Big straighten as Chris Kobus comes through that inside clip. Dustin kind of in his on his own line doing his own thing. Looks like Chris is not hitting his marks perfect, but unfortunately our chase is quite inactive there. So that's going to be a pretty clear-cut decision. Chris Kobus gets around the course without issue. Fortunately, some problems for that 95 car. Potentially seeing him have some issues there. Maybe he had a car issue as well. We did not see, but snapped to angle real quick there and then had some problems throughout the course. So it looks like Chris Kobus is going to be moving on to our finals. He is going to be going against the winner of this next battle, which is going to be Daniel Hendricks versus Rob Izzo. This is going to be a great battle. Both these guys drive together all the time. Both of these guys do a great job, especially on their leads. So this is going to be something where the opportunity is going to be there for an amazing chase run from both of these drivers. Like we talked about a little bit earlier, Daniel did have a couple of issues with his car. Hopefully something he can get figured out and something he can get ready to go. Izzo just looks textbook out there. He looks perfect, so definitely going to be a rough one to beat. We just got word that Rob Izzo is doing a quick tire swap, so we're going to have to go to a quick hiatus from competition to make sure that he can swap his tires and get some fresh rubber on that rig. And then we will go right into our quarterfinals and finals.
She would have filled all of her zones. That would have.
Alrighty, guys, we are taking a quick hiatus for Rob to get his tires changed. Hopefully he's doing those as fast as possible. I see that his buddy Corey is running over there to go give him a hand, make sure he gets back on track. But I want to talk about a couple of events we got coming up here at Pikes Peak International Raceway and with Drift Colorado. Obviously, here at Pikes Peak International Raceway, we've got Slush coming up next weekend. That's going to be a banger event for everybody to come out to, hang out, have a good time, watch some drifting, do some drifting yourself. Definitely one you already know about. Directly after that, I believe Drift Colorado has a round up at Colorado National Speedway. They're going to be doing Pro-Am. So much higher level competition than we have going on with our grassroots series, Group B. But an awesome one to check out up north, especially for our Denver folks. After that, we do have Ascend Motorsports Festival going on down here at Pikes Peak International Raceway, presented by Down to Earth. doing the car show side of things. It's going to be an awesome drift skills battle, as well as drifting, racing, all of the fun stuff that we do here all the time. Burnout competition in the ring with our Summer of Smoke series. So definitely one to come out to and check out if you are not already. Grab your ticket to ppr.com. Make sure you go take a look at those ones. We have some wind picking up here in the booth, so we're getting blown around a little bit. Waiting for Izzo. I do not see his car pulling back out on track yet, so looks like we're waiting for him to get back there. We also have June 7th coming up, Summer Vibes. That's our all-women's event. That one's going to be a banger. We have a ton of out-of-state drivers showing up. We have all of our lady car enthusiasts of Colorado Springs showing up to that one. If you are a lady and you want to get on track, or if you want to support the ladies who are on track, come out to that one in June as well for us. We're going to get some stuff buttoned up here, battening down the hatches as the wind continues to blow here at Pikes Peak International Raceway. Not a bad day for it, though. Nicer weather than we've had at a lot of our events. We've had a lot of adverse weather conditions, and the wind's a little welcome as long as it's not raining sideways on us, pushing those clouds away. I'd like to thank some of our sponsors that I know off the top of my head. Actually, you know what, Tim? Read off our sponsors. They're on the back of my shirt right here that you can get from Drift Colorado.
All right, great. Big shout out thanks to Big Nick, Lil Wax Baby, Aloha Insurance, Jim Miller, Apex Auto Works, Automotive ADHD, Drift Dummies, Dark Arts Performance, Trackside, Drift Colorado, Regenstein, and After Hours Auto Sports.
Hell yeah, brother. All right. Hey, big shout out to these guys, too. These guys are sick. I don't know who that Night Terror guy is, dude. I'm Simon. I've never met William either, but here you are.
He walks around at night.
All right, we're gonna be hanging out here. Maybe Izzo's just icing the kicker here. Maybe he's just trying to make sure that who's he going up against on this one? Is it Daniel? Maybe making sure that Daniel sweats a little bit on this one. Daniel probably graciously accepting the time to make sure he can get all of his stuff worked out. It sounds like he's still kind of hitting that soft limiter, potentially a fuel cut issue, like we were talking about a little earlier. But this is going to be our finals here. We've got Daniel and Robert going up to get their position in the finals. And then we have Chris Kobus already in the finals. And Dustin is going to be potentially battling for that third place if we're going to be doing a third place battle. But first we got to get Rob Izzo, Daniel Hendricks on the track, get them to battle it out to see who's going to the finals against Chris. I want to give a big shout out to Chris, to Trackside Photography, both the Kobuses out there. Chris had a bad wreck last night. He was unfortunately bumped a little bit of contact, and then went into the wall on entry, and that's a really tough spot right there. Both cars, ended up, they survived it, but not without damage. Izzo was involved in that crash as well. So both of these guys building their cars back up, making sure they got to comp. And Chris Kobus doing a great job because he was able to actually get some parts from Big Nick's Auto, get his upper control arm replaced. I know he had a rear tie rod and a couple of things that were bent and mangled. Got all that stuff put back together this morning. I saw them both wrenching on it, and he is out here and now in our finals. So definitely a love story, a love affair with drifting as far as breaking it, fixing it, breaking it again. He is out here to prove something. And we talked about it at the start of this. I don't know if we were on camera talking about it, but that was the first time he had a big wreck in that car. It's a brand new car for this season as far as the livery goes and some of the setup. So he definitely was pretty torn up about having that car be busted up at the night drift. But now he's just an animal in it. He knows the first scrapes are out of the way, and he's ready to put it on someone's door. And who better to than Rob Izzo or Daniel Hendricks? As I see Izzo pulling back to the line, he is motoring to make sure we're ready. It looks like Daniel is saying something to him over there in our hot pits. They're going to chat real quick, make sure they're both ready, and pull up to the line here. So here we go. Little time filler. It also looks like we have some of our A group cars getting ready, getting lined up. That is going to be our higher horsepower caged cars. Definitely not a street class type of vehicle. Group B, a lot of these people drove here, or at least they drive them on the street sometimes. They have factory crash bars. They generally don't have roll cages. Running a little bit less tire on these cars, a little bit lower horsepower, a little bit more of a fun group, and it's really meant to set you up for a higher level competition. Group A, Pro-Am competitions that we do all around Colorado with Drift Colorado. So Izzo warming up his tires here in his Vet. Probably put a little bit more oil in that thing. Make sure, I know that thing consumes a little bit. By a little bit, I mean gallons at a time. Daniel warming up his tires as well. Both of them getting ready to pull up to the line and give us a show. Perfect. Getting the thumbs up from Corey here, his spotter, who had to run over there and help him swap. God, the cardio, dude. This guy's not even winded. He just ran back and forth across the pits. Do you have any quick commentary? How's his car looking?
Oh yeah, he's dialed. He's calm and collected, so this will be a really good battle.
This is going to be a great one. Both these guys, probably 100 laps between the two of them together. They are clear to send. We are giving them the okay to go. Sambu's going to get out there to the line and get them rolling for you. Thanks for sticking with us through that hiatus. Here we go. We are going to get back to the drifting action. If you're just tuning in, this is our first round of grassroots competition. We are almost to the finals. This is the battle into the finals for Daniel Hendricks leading Rob Izzo. Off the line, LS on LS crime. Here we go. Daniel with a little bit of a gap on him. Pulls that e-brake and gets initiated. Rob doing a good job of staying right with him, right where he needs to be. It looks like Daniel having a hard time getting to that outer zone, but does a great job on the inner clip. Here they both come past the judges' stand. Oh, big backfire out of Daniel's car. Able to e-brake it into that zone, but a little bit of an interesting line that Izzo was having a tough time following through there. Both of them make it through the course cleanly, and a great outer zone 3 from Daniel. With definitely some weird sounds coming out of his car as he came past the judges' tower here. We're going to take a quick look at this replay. Izzo doing a great job. Right where he needs to be, a car to a car and a half back, giving him the room because of some of these mechanical things. Maybe they talked about that in the pits. Daniel's someone who's always going to be, straight up with his competitors, let them know if there's something happening. So, man, hard for Izzo to chase that one with a little bit of a bobble. I think that backfire could have scared him the same way it scared me. It is windy out here, folks. Here we go. We are going to be sending them. Izzo in the lead. Daniel giving chase. Izzo with a nice flick to initiate. Rolling the smoke on already. Getting perfect out to that outer zone. Potentially a little too deep there. Taking out one of our cones on that inner clip just a little bit, but a smooth line coming through. And does a great job getting into outer zone 2. Holding it out there. Daniel having plenty of room to dive in on Izzo's door. Daniel doing a good job in that follow, making his presence felt. Izzo potentially just doing a little bit better job in that lead. We're going to have to take a look at Izzo's lead one more time, make a decision here. This is Group B driving at its finest as we come closer and closer to the finals. Looks like Daniel's car could be a little bit, acting a little bit funny. I really like that outside zone 1 from Izzo. Obviously bumped the cone on the clip there, but nothing too crazy. And textbook in outer zone 2. Little bit of left foot brake to keep him in the zone throughout the whole thing. There is not a line of chalk that he is not in, except for that outside one, actually, as I say that. But you know what? We're going to deliberate real quick, give you a decision in just a sec here. Alrighty, Izzo is going to get the win. Daniel with a valiant effort, but unfortunately looking like he may be having a couple of car issues there. Couple of bobbles in the lead that didn't put him in the zones he wanted to be. An amazing driver who definitely could have gone all the way without those car troubles. Bummer to see him having those, but Izzo, another amazing driver. And this is going to be a very exciting final because this is going to be two buddies, Chris and Rob. Both of these dudes drive together more than anybody else. Both of these dudes involved in an accident last night. Both these dudes repairing their damage and getting back out onto grid. This is exactly what we like to see, this Cinderella story. We have Dustin, it looks like, pulling up to the line. We'll see if we're going to be running this third place battle here, as it looks like Daniel is pulling back up as well after doing a short cooldown. This is going to be our battle for third place if we have Dustin going against Daniel. What was that? Okay. Here we go. This battle for third place. Dustin in that C6 in the lead. Daniel in his 350Z giving chase. Hood now off of that 350Z, it appears. Here we go. Dustin doing a good job getting out to that outer zone 1. Doing a great job on that transition. Knocks a cone just a hair off of that inner clip. Definitely fills that outer zone. And look at that. Daniel right there on him, knocking on his door as they transition. Both of them on a perfect line through outer zone 3. Little dirt drop from one of those 2 red cars out there, but both of them doing a great job as they come through the finish. I'm protecting the rock. I'm protecting the rock. Shut up. Alrighty, coming around for the inverse of this battle as we look at this replay. I absolutely love that proximity from Daniel, matching the angle, matching the proximity so well. And a great lead run from Dustin to be able to give him the opportunity to get that close. Both of these guys throwing down right now. Here we go, as we have our drivers leaving for the second half of this battle. Hey, will you grab this, touch those real quick? Just like hold them down. Daniel in the lead, initiating. Let's see if he can get all the way out to that outer zone. He does. He does a great job of filling outer zone. An amazing job at the inner clip. Here we go. Daniel coming into our outer zone 2, right past the judges tower, and Dustin is nowhere to be found. Dustin is unfortunately not as close as Daniel was in his, and Daniel putting down a pretty textbook lead run for him to follow. Dustin able to clean it up at the end and build up that proximity towards the end of the course, but Daniel right away had proximity in his chase, so definitely an amazing one to watch with no faults. I think we'll have to double check these replays and give out a third place winner. We are not going to announce who is going to be winning any of these next battles because obviously this will be our top 3. So these 4 cars will be pulling right up next to our judges stand here at the end of this competition after Group A goes, and they will all come to receive their trophies. Look at that. Both these drivers doing an amazing job. This much smoke on this windy of a day from Group B cars is crazy. But we have got the battle we've been waiting for. Rob Izzo, Chris Kobus.
No, we just picked it up and put that stuff under it.
Hold start. Hold start.
It's all.
Dang, yeah. You can circle that.
The original is crazy.
Original is bonkers.
When there's sweet heat out here?
Chill out, dude. Chill out.
Too much. Appreciate it, dog.
Let me get a bite of that.
Have a nibble. It's not mine, but he said it's fair game. Oh yeah, fair game. Bigger, brother.
Oh, look, we're on camera eating.
You know what's funny?
We've got cheaters playing over here, so do not announce the winner. Just let me know if we have a winner.
Daniel had Daniel.
All right, I'm ready. Oh, don't announce anything. Just say we have a winner.
Oh,
We're clear to send.
clear to send.
Perfect. I just got the clear to send signal. We are ready to go for the first lead follow of our finals here. Drift Colorado Group B Street Class here at Pikes Peak International Raceway. This is Robert Izzo chasing Chris Kobus. Look at that big puffs of smoke off that C5 of Rob Izzo. A little bit of left foot brake as he sets himself up behind Chris. Chris doing a good job getting out to the zone. Not quite as deep as we'd like to see. Izzo trying to make up the gap on him. Here you go. Oh, it looks like Chris Kobus a little bit off of that outer zone. Unable to fill out all of the zones on 2 and 3 there. Rob doing a good job of kind of making that proximity up where he can without a super wide lead to follow. But I think Chris knew that Izzo was about to stuff it in his door. He might have been running away a little bit. Either way, great drive from both these guys as we're taking a look at the replay. you say?
All I know is that I got
Oh, dude, in this trans, we're almost there.
anywhere you point that, like if I talk right here, not much.
Yeah, it's got to be at the.
Yeah.
Cool.
Really.
I can point it away from me. Here we go. We are getting underway with our second half of this finals battle. Rob Izzo leading Chris Kobus. Both of them doing a good job initiating. Smoke already from that C5 as the wind picks up. Great job in that outer zone. Knocks over one cone in that inner. Chris unfazed by that cone bouncing off his car, but way inside, potentially having, wonder if he's having a mechanical issue, something going on with his rig. Izzo doing a great job of filling all of those zones. Looks like Chris having a hard time coming into this outer zone too. We are not going to announce who is the winner of this one. All we will announce is if we're doing one more time or if we have a winner. Looks like they are pulling up here. Izzo doing some donuts, getting us ready to go. Chris doing some donuts as well. Wonder if we're doing a ceremony here or if we are waiting until Group A is done. Izzo and Chris, both great friends. They're having a little bit of fun here on outside zone 2. Both these drivers having a great time. They're going to have to pull back to the line so we can get our Group A comp underway. Izzo having a good time. They just wanted to show out both these boys throwing down all day here. Chris and Rob, the best of buds and the best of drivers out here today at our for our Group B competition. We are going to see who the winner of our Group B series was after we finish up with our Group A proceedings here. Group A is going to be our faster cars, cage cars, higher horsepower, more grip. This is going to be exciting. I believe we have 6 or 8 drivers coming in. It's going to be a fun one. Tell them we have a winner.
How many drivers are there for Group A?
6 or 8.
We have a win.
And are we going right into it? I'm like out of that, so hopefully I'll have something.
We are going to do some re-chalking. We are going to get the course reset up for Group A, and then we're going to get ready to send them. I'm going to... Will you mic me on? Alrighty, folks, we are revving up for our Group A drivers to get on grid here. First up, looks like we are going to have Trapper and Mike. Mike in that S14. You may have seen him last year in his Cresta wagon. That thing is awesome. Trapper John switching over to his C5 Corvette to run an A group with us. He is going to be running both groups today. Had a bit of an unfortunate loss in Group B, so he's definitely trying to make something happen with this Group A performance here. Obviously, we got Levi Waite. We got a bunch of heaters on the grid. Looks like we got Trapper, Mike, Levi, Blake, and Courtney Verts up on the chopping block here for our Group A performances.
Are they ready to send? No.
They're not even to the line. No, we're good. You're good. Hope your guys get on fire. Oh man, if you guys haven't already, please do us a favor if you're watching on the live stream. Share this over to some of your friends. Tell them to watch some Drift Colorado action. We're out here braving the wind at Pikes Peak International Raceway. It's a good day otherwise. No rain has come down yet, but we do have some clouds in the sky. Other than that, pretty warm. Just the wind ripping through here in the announcing booth. So I do apologize if we have any wind noise on the live stream here, but we're trying to keep that to a minimum. Looks like we got Trapper warming up his tires. Mike already at the start line. Looks like in the follow position. That'll mean Trapper, John Watts, is going to be in the lead.
I was like, man, I'm probably gonna pass out. He's like, dude, you're in bed. Go on, pass out. I'm like, thanks.
Oh, thanks, bro. Dude, you're in a bed.
Like, I've got like the vomit thing. I like throw up into the thing, and then he's like, you want me something? He's like, I'm laying there like dying. He's like, how you feeling? He's like, not good. Love when the medic.
Good to go. We're good to go.
Are we good? Alrighty, guys, we are getting ready to send Trapper out there, turning his headlights on, letting us know that he's excited. We've got Mike and that S14, Trapper in his C5 Corvette, our first run of Group A, going down here at Fountain, Colorado, Pikes Peak International Raceway for Drift Colorado Group A Grassroots Competition Round 1. Here we go, some cones out on track. We're going to need to get those cleaned up before the next run here. You can see immediately tons more smoke pouring off these Group A cars. A little bit of a bobble from Mike in the chase there. Trapper unable to get out to the zone until a little bit later in that zone. We did see a bobble from Mike right in front of the judges' stand. Doing a good job bringing that proximity in at the end there. Love to see this one flipped around and see exactly what's going on. Throwing it back real quick to our Group B final runs there. We're going to throw it back to a replay to take a look. Looks like Mike had a couple of issues in that run, but Trapper also on not the greatest of lead lines that I've ever seen him put down. Normally a super consistent and awesome lead driver, but we're going to go back to the inverse of this battle. This is going to be Mike in the lead, Trapper giving chase. We have our track staff out there getting some cones cleaned up, making sure that they replace all of those cones so everybody knows where they're supposed to be at. They're going to get that done as quickly as possible, and then we'll be ready to go.
It's like running, but you don't mean it.
Oh, Levi coming through here. He said foe. They need to reset those center foot counts too. That'll be all right.
I think they always have to make them like that.
Yeah, but they're too far out.
Yeah, they are.
It's whatever. We'll know. If somebody flips an enter, that's fine.
What's the ideal positioning on the flips?
As close to the cone as possible without hitting it. Like you'll see sometimes they just baby scrub the cone, and that's actually really good. We are getting ready to send the second half of this battle. Mike, it is S14 leading Trapper John Watts in his C5 Corvette. Here we go as they take off from the start line. Mike in that S14 with a big sweeping flick into the initiation point. Here we go, really filling out that outside zone. It looks like Trapper got a little lost there. Mike doing a great job on that inner clip right where we want him, but those cones were a little bit off. Trapper doing his best to bring in the angle and try to chase him down. Might have been just a little bit too little too late. We're going to have to go to the replay on this one to see exactly what happened in that first corner to Trapper with a big angle flick on his slowdown. Oh, coming all the way through our course. Looks like he's having a little bit of extra fun out there. Car's looking loose. Looking at this replay. Oh. Trapper deciding to sauce it up a little bit extra there. Trapper at multiple points looked like he was about to straighten, but I'm not sure if he did straighten. We're going to do some deliberating real quick, take a look at these replays if we can, and see what we can figure out on these replays here. I'm saying one more time on that. I think they both straight.
Yeah,
all right. Hold on. Look at this right here. I just want to see if it's straight right there. Yeah, that's.
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, right there. It's not as bad, but I think one more time we safe call there. Alrighty, after some deliberation, that's going to be a one more time. Looks like both of them straightened according to a replay. I wish we had a replay of Mike's run as well. We're kind of just going based off of memory on that one. I know he did have a bobble and a straighten as well. So going to do one more time because both of the leads look right around the same. Obviously better proximity for Mike on that one, but we're going to give him the one more time. Here we go. Courtney Wirtz leading 240 on 240 action as Courtney comes through into the outer zone, through the inner. Both of them doing a nice job. One cone gets taken out. Both these cars sounding awesome as they come by the judges booth. Courtney doing an amazing job filling that outside zone 2. Big time transition. Outside zone 3 looks textbook. Little bit inside on outside zone 3. But other than that, super smooth, super fluid. Exactly what we've come to expect to see from Courtney. Courtney and Blake putting on a masterclass here in Group A. Look at this on the replay here. Courtney doing a great job getting out there. Isn't all the way outside into that zone at the start of it. Make sure she makes her car go into that zone there. Great job on the inner. And then this outside zone too. That was just perfect all the way through. Awesome job. Man, that's exciting to watch. Blake doing a great job of being right there with her. Let's see when we inverse this. Let's see how Courtney can do in the chasing that gold 240 of Blake, or is that round potentially. All right, here we go. Zambu getting them ready at the line. Blake is going to be leading Courtney here. Courtney jumping the start line, making sure she doesn't get left in the dust. I know she's not on too sticky of a tire, but here we go. Blake is initiated. Courtney initiating behind him. Very shallow from Courtney, trying to make sure that she makes up the distance. Looks like is going straight. Oh, man, unfortunately, potentially having an issue in that first corner. But now Blake is coming through. Blake doing an amazing job on outside zone 2. Making sure that he fills that entire zone, transitioning over to outside zone 3 with a little bit of e-brake, making it look easy as he comes through the course. Courtney right there with him, but looks like not making much smoke. Potentially could have had a mechanical problem, or potentially that bobble in the first corner set her up on a troublesome course through the rest of it. Let's take a look one more time. Looks like potentially a little bit of understeer. And Courtney just trying to do everything she can to keep up at very shallow angle, and then unfortunately the straighten right there, protecting that front bumper, but unfortunately going opposite. There we go. It looks like Blake is going to get the win on that one. We're going to have to double check, see if we're doing double elimination or just single with this one. Guys said. Here we go. We have got Trapper John going up one more time with Mike. Trapper in the lead. Mike giving chase in his S14. As they come through that first corner, both of them lighting off right around the same point there. Trapper doing a good job getting out to that outside zone. Perfect around that inner. It looks like Mike's a little lost behind him, but dials it back in. Drives through a smoke line with no problem. Both of them dialing in on that outside zone too. Mike really putting it to his door. A little dirt drop from Mike as he transitions there. But oh my, that was a pretty awesome job in outside zone 2. Mike putting on a clinic of slowing down behind a slower car. Big left foot brake, sets him in a ton of angle. I can't wait to watch this replay, guys. Trapper doing a good job through that. You see Mike have to come through his smoke line, but as soon as he does, look at that missile works on the back of that car. That thing truly is a work of art, and he does such an amazing job getting that car slowed down. I know he dropped a tire just a hair there on transition, but I really liked his aggressiveness on there. Little taps in that back corner as well. That was almost perfect. Love turning up the aggression on this one. Now let's see what Trapper can put together in his chase and what we can see from Mike in his lead. Here we go. They are both off the line clean. Mike putting a little bit of a gap on him. Flick initiation as he comes in, coming through to our first outer zone here. Looks like he is pretty textbook on the outer zone 1. Nice job through the inner clip. Trapper not letting him get too much distance away though. Oh, look at that line through outer zone 2. That is exactly what we want to see on throttle, pouring smoke as he comes through outer zone 3. This is a shorter and tighter course, so plenty of time for that chase driver to get up with him. Trapper does a good job of putting it to the side of his door, but man, that was so pretty coming in through outer zone 2, outer zone 3. Tim, what are you thinking on that lead run by Mike?
Mike's lead run was almost spot on. Every zone was hit, filled well. Looks good.
Man, not too much to say about that. That's almost exactly what we're looking for. I love that he's wide all the way in here, giving Trapper John all of the time that he needs. He did come out of that zone a little bit early, actually, looking at that one. But other than that, man, that is just about as good as it gets on the track limits there. That was a great run. Looks like we've got Levi warming up his tires. He's getting ready to get in on some of this action. We'll see who he's going up against. It looks like he may have the bye here. So that would put him immediately into our top 4 bracket there. Like I said, only 5 drivers in this Group A session. Unfortunately, we had a couple of drivers with some mechanical problems, a couple of drivers who had some crashes last night and yesterday. So unfortunately, we're not seeing James Ford compete in his after-hours Dark Arts Performance C6. And we're not seeing a couple of our other Group A competitors that we normally see out here, such as the Knicks and Big Knicks Auto. But we do have a couple of guys out here duking it out. One lady out here duking it out with Courtney. She looks like she is getting ready to pull up to the line. We'll see if we're doing double eliminations here and if we're going to get a couple cars back to the line here. So we just got word down from our start line that we are doing double elimination because of our lack of drivers out here. So Mike is out there changing some tires. It looks like Rob Izzo is helping them out. They are getting their hustle on. Levi is going to be driving against them. We have got our losers bracket. First battle in the losers bracket here is going to be Courtney Wirtz versus Trapper John Watts. It looks like Trapper is going to be leading. We are pulling him up to the line here to get going with our Group A. Looks like Courtney is now in the lead position there. They swapped around a couple of times. We are going to give them the clear to send signal, and they will be well on their way. Let's see what Courtney can put together on this lead run here. Potentially a false start situation going on. Wanted to see what's going on there. All these people out in Group A and most of the people in Group B, we're all friends out here, so making sure we keep friendly competition going on here. We're not going to announce any fault on that. We're just going to get them restarted, get them another chance to get going here. Here we go as we get them lined up. Both of them off the line clean this time. Courtney in the lead, Trapper in the chase. Courtney doing a good job initiating. Trapper matching that angle very, very nicely as they come through. Outer zone 1 filled great by Courtney. A little bit off of our inner clip on the transition there. And here we go as they both rip by. Courtney doing an amazing job getting out there. Trapper going off track, hitting that off track cone on the outside there, pouring a ton of angle in it behind Courtney. Courtney is on a smaller tire than these guys are, so she is potentially making it a little bit harder to follow there, which can be an advantage, can be a disadvantage. We're going to need to reset that cone real quick and then get back to the second half of this battle. As we take a look at this replay here, you see Trapper, I don't know if he pulls e-brake or what he does there, but just gets a little too close. Courtney did kind of pull out of that zone a little early, but not making a ton of power to be able to left foot brake and stick into that zone as deep as some of these bigger power V8 cars going. But still, she was running a fluid line, and it looks like, at least to me, that Trapper made a little bit of a mistake, diving a little bit too hard in that zone. Looks like we got Trapper driving through the pits here. That is a interesting one, taking a little bit of a beeline there, going a different way. It looks like he may be maybe he wanted to just go check in on his pits, make sure his easy up tent didn't blow away in all this wind. Trapper making his way back down to the line here. Looks like he was doing a little victory lap, cool down lap. Something may be going on, but he is still up on the bank. Should rejoin us at the line shortly to throw down a lead run against Courtney Wirtz here. we go. Trapper pulling back up to the line now. Coming around from off your screen. But now he's back in line. Maybe he was doing a big cool down. You know, sometimes those cars can get hot when they're running back-to-back like this. So we just gave him the clear to send signal. They are ready to go. Looks like Trapper might be having an issue with his vehicle. Talking to Zambu there on the start line. We're going to see if we can get a radio in on exactly what's going on there. But it looks like his car may be hot. Something may be going on. It looks like there may have been a slight mix-up on the start line, but we are getting ready to go here with our next battle. It looks like Courtney potentially already kind of has a bye into the 3-4 battle, but so it looks like Courtney is electing to save her tires. She might be only on 1 or 2 sets of tires for this whole competition, so she is going to save them, make sure they can last throughout the rest of the competition rather than running another run. All right, so our next official battle here is going to be Levi Waite and Mike. This is going to be battling into potentially into our finals here. So let's take a look. We are not going to be announcing winners once we start going to our 1, 2, 3, but we will announce the winner of this one. All right, this goes into our finals for us. Mike and Levi, and then Blake. All righty, here we go. Levi taking off, putting a little bit of a gap, big old gap on Mike. Mike kind of sleeping at the line there. Levi potentially trying to give him the sauce, give him the slip. Levi doing a good job of getting out to that outer zone. Takes out a cone on the inner clip. He's doing a nice job drawing a smooth line out to our outer zone, and here comes Mike. Mike making up a huge gap. You hear that turbo lighting off on his car as he makes up the ground. Amazing job by Mike to get back on his door after what looked like almost a false start at the line. Man, look at Mike diving in there. Doing an amazing job. Making up that distance and then right into it. But we're going to see the other half of this battle. You know, hopefully Mike can leave him the same way, and we can see if they do it in the same fashion. But Levi is not one to get left at the line, so we're going to see exactly what's going to happen when we run it back on this battle. We are clear to send, good to go, getting the thumbs up. Here we go. Mike and Levi taking off from the line. Mike in that gray MissileWorks S14. Big flick. Levi right behind him, straight to the side of his vehicle. Oh, but Mike doing an amazing job filling that zone. Good job in the inside clip. Knocks that one cone off. Does amazing with his nice wide line into outer zone 2. Coming into outer zone 3 here, transitions right across Levi's front bumper. And Levi right there, not letting him get away, staying in the mix. Just about a car and a half, 2 cars back. Doing a nice job, playing it conservative. He knows he had a huge gap at the start of his lead line, so definitely going to be one that we're going to take a look at. Look at this replay, man. I love the way Mike comes through. This outside zone looking great. On the inside zone, he was a little bit too far inside. Takes out one of our cones there, but understandable. It's kind of been happening all day. And, man, that outer zone, he looks like he filled the entire thing coming back across the track. Levi transitions a little late right in that area, but other than that, great run from both these guys. Alrighty, it is going to be Levi with the win on that one. Levi getting the win on that one. I mean, that gap at the start of his run, unfortunately, was too much for Mike to make up. but he's doing a great job at making it up. I do believe, since we're doing double elimination, that Mike will still be in. He may be battling Courtney in this next one, but Mike doing a great job. That car, obviously a rocket ship. Just got left of the line on that one. So, what's Blake doing? Is Blake broke?
I don't know. I don't see Blake
I see a lot of people standing around Blake's car, who should be one of our next competitors to come up. Fortunately, a lot of people standing around the engine bay of that vehicle. Looks like there may be something serious going on. So we're going to give him just a sec to take a look at what's going on there and radio down to our start, see if we can get some info for ourselves. What? I have no clue. I have no clue. We should be at the semifinals for sure. Okay. But I don't know. We might not do it. I'm so. What? Oh. This is loser bracket. Alrighty, in our loser bracket here, we've got Mike and Courtney pulling up to the line. Mike in that MissileWorks S14, Courtney in that purplish pink flame S13, getting ready to go. Zambu getting them started off the line. Here we go. Both of them off the line. Mike obviously putting a little bit of a gap on Courtney's car. Big power differential, big grip differential between these cars, but Courtney doing a good job of trying to stay right there in the equation. Mike doing a perfect job of filling that zone, comes through the inner perfect, doing a great job staying wide, getting on the power early, coming in to that outside zone 2. Nice smoky transition, clutch kick on transition from Courtney to try to get up there close to him. Fortunately, just a little bit of lack of proximity from Courtney there, but obviously big power and big grip differential in these cars, so got to keep that in mind when you're looking at these two vehicles. Courtney out here putting on a show for the low power cars, the low grip cars, and still keeping up with Mike in that borderline pro car. We're going to be running the inverse of this battle, but we can take another look at Courtney clutch kicking as much as she can, trying to make sure that she keeps that wheel speed up and stays active in that chase, and doing a great job of mimicking the line and the angle that S14 had. Obviously, just doing using every tool in the bag, trying to make sure to keep up. We have the inverse of that battle about to start right now. Courtney leading. We'll see if that S14 can slow down enough to stay behind this this slightly lower powered car. Here we go. Mike off the start line. Courtney doing a great job in the lead, getting out perfect into that zone. Flawless through the inner clip there. Nice swooping line out to the outer. Oh, and it looks like we got Mike starting to light off. Mike with an opposite drift there. Straightens out quite a bit. Courtney able to fill out that outside zone. That lack of grip, lack of power might be working out. We're going to have to take a look at these replays and deliberate. So give us just one moment while we watch these together with you guys, and we will make our decision. We will not be announcing this decision or any decisions going forward, because this is going to be our podium. So we'll make sure we make those announcements once we're down on the floor with them. Alrighty, we've got our final battle coming up. This is Levi Waite and Blake in that S13. Blake pulling up to the line in that brown S13, looking stylish. Levi waiting to pull up to the line for just a sec. We'll see what he's doing here. Yeah, that's craziness.
We are clear to send. Clear to send.
Perfect. We are getting the clear to send on our finals here. Blake leading Levi Wait. Here we go. Both of them off the line, clean, coming down that front straight. Blake with a nice initiation, little e-brake pull to get himself set up as they come through into outer zone 1. Blake doing a good job of filling that zone all the way. He is very inside on that inside clip, but doesn't hit any cones there. Comes through nice and smooth into that outside zone 3. Doing a good job on outside zone 2 there. My apologies. Coming through to outside zone 3, he is textbook on the very outside of that course. That was just about perfect as far as lead goes. Levi doing a good job being right there with him, but Blake putting on a masterclass on that lead line. Look at how close he got to this inside clip cone. I know that inside cone is a little bit off of where it maybe should be, but he is right there on it, and I got to give it to him on that one. Outside zone 2 here. Perfect sweeping line into there. You kind of lose him in the smoke, but you can tell he's deep in that zone. And then he comes through this transition. Textbook. Absolutely textbook. Coming in through that outside zone 3. I really like that lead line from Blake. Let's see what Levi can do for his lead line and see if Blake can push his door in the chase. I want to see them get real close here. Here we go. It looks like Levi may be having a chat with our start line man, Zambu. Here we go. Everybody getting locked and loaded. Levi Wait leading. Blake giving chase. Levi gets a pretty big gap. Looks like Levi's car is hooked up, but Blake is going to try to make up that gap there. As they come through, Levi does a good job of getting out of that outer zone. Blake right there. Levi clips a cone on that inner. And now here we go as they both come through. Both of them doing a great job. Blake right there on his door. Levi filling that outside zone just like he should. Doing a great job on that third outer as well. We're going to have to take a look at these and see exactly what went down on both these battles. Compare lead for lead, chase for chase, and make a decision here. This is going to be a tough one. Yeah, I need to see. I mean, he's great there. He hits the cone there. So he's off on. Levi's off on. Yeah. He did. He did a good.
He's fucking way tighter than Chase. Like, so.
Yeah.
He almost.
He almost got him on transition there.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's not crazy close. Can we see both of those? We are going to continue to take a look here. Yeah, there may be a one more time, but that was the final. So this is what we need to take another look at these replays and see if we can take a look at lead for lead, chase for chase. Trying to find potential mistakes. I did see that inner clip cone get hit by Levi. That was definitely a mistake in his lead. But I want to see chase for chase, just see exactly how close, because both these leads were pretty great.
I think he was just shallow. Yeah, he was shallow.
No, that's the
Oh,
outside
is that
line.
the outside?
That's the outside line.
Okay.
Yeah. It's hard. They both did a good job. our Drift Colorado Group A. We're going to bring everybody in. Oh, we have a winner. For Drift Colorado Group A, we are going to bring everybody to the line here, our Group B and our Group A competitors, everyone in our top 4, so we can announce the winners for Group B and Group A.
Well, right now I'm black because I'm not plugged in. I did the last 2 runs.
Will you be able to have me when I'm down there? Alrighty, guys, we are going to run down to the track here. Get on out there, talk to some of these competitors. We got Levi, Blake, Mike, and Courtney all pulling up. We're going to get some of our Group B guys out here as well. Hopefully we can get our Group B competitors to come on out, get their podium going as well. We're on our little safety vest here, taking a stroll.
Roll your window up because it was like blowing so much track debris in your face. Like my eyes were watering. The wind was definitely gnarly. I mean, then once you're on track, it doesn't matter anyway. But the wind on grid sucked.
Yeah, that was definitely a hard time up in the booth trying to make sure our audio was working there. But an amazing show out from the Group A drivers. It always is. It's always fun to see. You guys were all ripping out there. Want to kind of go start down at this section with Courtney and Mike here. Talk with them a little bit about how their runs went. Is Courtney over here? Courtney definitely down on power, but not down on style. This S13 was looking sick up there. I got to stay over here. Hold on. Feedback. Perfect. That sounds better. All right. So what kind of tires were you on in the back? I know we had talked about it a little bit earlier. You said you were on quite a bit less tire than a lot of these dudes are out here on.
215, 45s, accelerators.
The 215, 45 accelerators. Can make it happen. It's definitely a hard one, but it did kind of play in your favor in that last run. Obviously, Mike had a hard getting his car slowed down in time behind you.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, there was definitely it was definitely hard for him to stay back there. I want to talk. Where's Mike at? Mike. Dude, this thing is so fast. This thing is a rocket ship.
This thing is terrifying. This is nothing like the Cressida wagon. What Brandon Page built at Missile Works is just a absolute rocket ship. I'm still really learning this car. This was like maybe we're in like the 15th lap of this car. So yeah, thank you, Brandon, for building me something way better than I am to drive it. So we'll see how the season goes if I can figure out how to drive it. So.
I remember you being an absolute force to be reckoned with in our Group B with that Cressida. You said you had some engine issues with the Cressida?
Yep, after 262 events in the Cressida, finally engine blew down in Alabama at Mid-Pond. So we'll rebuild that, maybe drive it next year, who knows. But yeah, for now I'm going to try to learn this car and maybe step my driving up a little bit. So.
Absolutely. I mean, it seemed going against cars that were a little slower, it seemed like almost a hindrance. Real hard to keep that thing behind them, you know?
Yeah, big time. And also the tire I'm on right now, not a tire I'm used to. It was like I had a real small window of it would grip up, then it would get slimy. So it was kind of a, learning the car, learning the tire, all that stuff. But still, super big, had such a good time today. So
fun getting a bunch of laps with the boys. I'm going to announce this in just a sec. I want to talk to Blake and Levi over here for a second. Get over here. I'm going to talk to you real quick. What's the setup on the S13?
2JZ, 6-speed, pretty straightforward, really. It's about 600 horse, relatively gripped up, nothing special, and it seems to do what we need it to.
Absolutely partying out there. It looked sick. It sounded sick. Stoked to see him there and able to make tons of ground when Levi was initiating there. It seems like Levi was kind of leaving everybody on the line today. He definitely had the reaction time down in the lead.
Second gear didn't want to play on that last one, so that was a first to third, and that's where that went. But we were able to pick back up on it, and it worked fine. So.
I mean, making up all that ground in the first corner was crazy. That was awesome.
It felt good to do. I was kind of like saying, no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, and it did good. So. Yeah, this is our first really outing with the car. We kind of played around with it last year, just testing and stuff. The car's been around with this setup, and this was our first competing with other people, and it's doing me pretty well so far, so I got no complaints.
And the performance was awesome. Over here, we're going to let you know exactly where you fell on the podium in just a moment here, but I do want to talk to some of our Group B drivers, if my Group B drivers are around. If I can get Rob, Kobus, and Daniel over here. Yes, I want to talk quick.
Yeah, it was quite a morning. Wasn't planning on driving at all today, and with the help of a few friends, we were able to get it back together, quick alignment, and drove as good as I could ask for it to.
Heck yeah, man. I mean, stoked to see that car still ripping. We were talking last night and this morning about getting back on the horse, making sure you did some competing, and talking about how dominant that car can be. Now that it's got its first scratches out of the way, you can really push the car, and we could see it in your driving, man. You were absolutely ripping. These drift guys, they always like to hang out at the back of the class, man. They're two of the guys with the most stoke out here. Daniel, you were talking to me last night about having a couple of issues mechanically with the car, potentially some fuel cut issues. Was that still happening during the competition?
All day, until right when comp started, and it worked. I definitely didn't expect a podium.
I could hear it when you were coming by. There were a couple times it backfired so gnarly, and I was like, that car doesn't do that. There's something going on.
Figure that out. But I'm happy with the results.
Yeah, definitely sick. And then, Rob, a staple out here. Every time you drive by and you're sitting there and you're so smooth, you look like you're not driving in comp. You look like you're sitting at home, beverage in hand, on the sim. You look so composed out there. How has the car been doing today?
The car's been doing good. After last night, Chris and I really needed to make it to the finals together. We needed a redemption lap. I think he got about 3 laps of practice. Didn't do any practice with him. So making it to the final was a blast with him. Wouldn't want it any other way. Either way, either one of us wins. We're stoked going home together.
Yeah, dude. I mean, two of the guys who drive together the most. It was awesome seeing you guys in the finals. Let's get you over here so we can get this podium out of the way. Levi, would you mind stepping over here? Somebody grab Levi real quick. We need you over here. All right, I'm going to be announcing Group B podium.
Oh, we got it.
All righty. So with our Group B podium in third place, driving that After Hours Autosport 350Z with an LS in it, battling through some mechanical issues, Daniel Hendricks. Gotta get him over the shades, man.
Okay, all right.
Congrats, man. Did an awesome job pushing through the mechanicals today. I need to get Tim over here. Tim, come on. Announce first place for me. You got to be big. You got to be animated.
Yeah.
Do second first, because I feel like you do first and just burn second.
All right, let's do second place first. All righty. In second place, driving a Corvette.
Imagine that.
A driver we see out here all the time. Alrighty, in second place, that trackside photography C6 Corvette, Chris Kobus in second. And that means there's only one man that can be our winner, the grooviest guy on grid, Rob Izzo.
Almost appeared better than mine.
Quick speech, Izzo, quick speech.
What a blast. Can't thank Levi enough. The last 2 years of driving, so much seat time, so many fun people to drive with. Let's just give it up for Drift Colorado, guys. Thank you much.
Well spoken and well said. Always a pleasure to drive with. Always a pleasure to be around. Couldn't ask for 3 better dudes on the podium. That was awesome. The driving all throughout today was insane. I'm so excited for the rest of the season in Group B. There is so much competition out there, and I mean, looking at the level of cars, the level of drivers, the level of experience, you know, there's nobody on the podium with less than triple-digit laps here at PPIR, and it shows. You guys were putting on a clinic. But we got to move over to Group A. Can I get all of my Group A people right over here by your cars? Oh, Group A, Group A. Alrighty, now that we got everybody together, in third place on the bottom spot of the podium, driving her S13, it's Courtney. Making it happen on 215s is crazy. Coming in clutch there. And the support section is awesome. Thank you guys for being here. All righty. Now this brings us to the big one. In second place. Been driving awesome all day. I love the suspense. I love waiting on it. It's so much fun. In his E36, in second place, we've got Levi Waite. And that means that in first place, there can only be one. This is Blake in the Drift Factory, S13, taking home the win in Group A. We need a speech, man.
Honestly, thank you. Putting on all the events, Drift Colorado is awesome. 5 years ago, we put a cage in that, and I have not had a W since. Feels pretty good. So, appreciate you all.
Heck yeah, dude. Awesome driving. Coming back from a huge deficit on that start line sometimes. And, you know, it was super close on that last one. We were going back and forth between it one more time. But you guys were both driving awesome out there. We wanted to make the call on a couple of technicalities. Either way, both you guys were ripping out there. Levi, I'm going to let you close it out. Thanks some of the sponsors, and we'll get back to some open drift driving.
Yeah, man, I want to say a huge shout out to Blake, man. We've been trying to drive together for, since you put the cage in. We literally have missed events, missed each other driving on and off track. We consistently try and drive together because it's fun. It's rowdy. We've competed several times CNS down here. Good time, so I'm glad we finally got to do that battle here. That's true. A reliable motor now, so you can play a little bit. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. Make sure you check out all of our other events. Father's Day weekend is our biggest event of the year. It's the Drift Carnival. It's 3 days. It's more driving than you could possibly do. Bring tires for. We set the bridge up, and we drift underneath the semi-truck trailer. We drive all night. It's pretty rowdy, so make sure you tell your friends to come and check that out. So we appreciate that. And then a huge shout out to all of our sponsors. We've got everybody. Does anybody have one of the shirts on for us? No? Right there? He's got a shirt on. Turn that shirt around. Let's see our sponsors on there. Turn around, turn around, turn around. Let's look at the back of that thing. Huge shout out to all of our sponsors for this year. we couldn't do that without their help. So it's a huge shout out. Make sure you guys get your images from Trackside too. They were here putting on a show, so check them out. And then a huge shout out to all of our live stream volunteers fighting this wind and the sun and everything else. And Jason with Colorado Springs Tire and Auto. Without them, we wouldn't be on track. So huge shout out to them. All the PPIR staff that helps put this on. He's not too bad for a ginger. We'll accept it. So thanks for coming. We're going to do some open drift. Make sure you guys get your ride-alongs if you can. Thanks for coming.
All right, we're going to let them send it off, burn the rest of their tires off. Let's get back over this wall and get to the open drift action. Thank you, everybody, for coming out to Pikes Peak International Raceway. We will see you guys on the next one. Let's close this out here.